Professionally, I think that's bullshit. They're a CDL team. They deserve to be treated like a professional team. No matter how they got in, it's not like they're not shooting back. You know what I mean? Like they've kept games relatively close. But coming from the, the other side, the other perspective of the pros, I can see why they think that. Like, oh, it's a waste of time. But at the same time, you got to hold yourself to professional. That's not fair to them. Like they're in this league. Everyone should be scrimming.
Go play them, smoke them, and then go move on. I don't get that. Like, to me, it just seems like some childish where they say that and be like, oh, they're so bad, we're not even going to play them. It comes off really lame. We want all these guys to do well. Play them. No one's going to deny it. That team is really struggling. They don't look good right now. But doing that is not helping the situation. It's just making it worse.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 208 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, bro.
Yeah?
Like, same as you, man. Got done with work. I got a good week ahead of me. I'm hoping that my roommate, she just told me that we may have snow coming on Thursday. So I am praying to the gods that it comes in clutch and I have no school. Bro, it's ridiculous. Like, I was pissed this morning because I don't know by you if you got any snow last night.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like, exactly. It wasn't like a ton, but it was probably like, I think here, probably got like 3 inches or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it was snowing up until like 4 a.m. And my road is like a side street. So the plow people don't care about it at all,
Yeah.
So like all the main roads, I woke up and they're not bad. And then my road's like complete disaster, like it's been barely touched or hasn't been touched, like since probably midnight or something. No delay. I'm like, yeah. And then she's a teacher too. And she's like, oh yeah, we had a 2-hour delay. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't get blessed at all with this. Like, I don't want the day off entirely, but like, if I could maybe show up to work at 11, like,
Yeah, like a nice
that'd be
2-hour
ideal.
delay or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I could just kind of chill out, maybe play a little bit of COD before I wake up or have a nice breakfast, but no, I'm out here like shoveling away, being like, oh, I got to get to work on time. And like everybody was late. All the buses at school were late, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, dude, that guy like who makes the call, come on, bro. Like, throw us a bone, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my street didn't they didn't even, well, they plowed like the main street to get onto my street, but
right
in the cul-de-sac, they didn't give.
I was gonna say, yeah, yours is probably even worse than me because like,
yeah, I mean,
no one would go down there unless you live there.
Yeah, like I mean, the last time we had snow, I mean, like we got like maybe 2 inches. So like normally, like I get less where I am compared to you, but
yeah,
the last time they came, I mean, they don't come like right in the morning when everyone needs to leave, when you expect plows to come like early in the morning.
right.
But yeah, so I mean, for me, it was fine. Like I just went and shoveled and then just drove through the snow. And then once I got to the main road, it was all plowed and stuff. But yeah, the snow, personally, not a fan.
Oh no, I hate it.
I hope we're done with. I mean, if we're gonna get snow again Thursday, which I think we are, but I hope it's just again a light dust. I don't mind this. We get a storm. I do not want that.
Yeah, I want that sweet spot. I want where it's enough. Like, I mean, it just needs to it needs to stop snowing at like 6 or 7 a.m. Like that's when they'll make the call. But like every time now, it stops snowing at 1 a.m. So then by the time when my school starts, they're all set. It's like, oh yeah, the roads have been like plowed. It's not a big deal. Even though my road, they just give it the middle finger. They don't care about it. It needs to snow late enough where the plow people are just going to be backed up or thinking like, oh, the sidewalks aren't safe for them to walk and all this stuff. And that's where hopefully it comes in clutch. But yeah, if we got like 12 inches of snow, I'd be livid because then I got to move my car and it's like, I don't want to be dealing with that.
Well, there's a guy that lives down the street and he has this quad and he has he attached like a plow to it or whatever.
Right.
And he just rips it like up and down. It's pretty cool, but he doesn't. I mean, like he doesn't do my driveway, or
Right.
he just clears the sidewalks and stuff. Well, not
Right.
sidewalks, the sides of the street
Yeah.
of certain houses. I'm assuming he does that because he's getting paid by those people to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he ripped through, waved to me. I was like, "Please fucking help me."
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
drove
that's where
away.
you'd be like, "Bro, if we ever have this, I'll sauce you $20, man.
Yeah,
You mind doing
yeah,
this?" It'd take him probably 2 minutes just to go and bang it out.
yeah, if that. Um,
Yeah.
but he that guy's a good guy though. He had his I always see him and his son like out of like they're always doing stuff together.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
he had his son on the back, like
Oh,
ripping it.
hell yeah.
That kid must have like been having a time.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, no, that's gotta be fun. I've, like, never ridden a quad before. I don't know if you have.
I've ridden one once, not in the
Yeah.
snow. Snow would be that'd be fun.
Oh, yeah, it'd be sick.
Yeah,
Same thing with, like, snowmobiles. Like,
yeah,
I wanna, like,
mhm,
ride a snowmobile so bad.
mhm.
Up in New Hampshire, bro, people just, like, when it's a bad storm, like, on the highway, you just see people on the side of the
Yeah,
like, they're just ripping, and I'm like, "Dude, that's so sick." Like, I
yeah.
wish I could, you know? But, yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get through this last little bit here because I don't know, February usually is a bad month for snow, so
Mhm.
we just gotta get through this, and then, once we get into March, we're pretty much smooth sailing, but
Yeah.
it's crazy to think it's already February though, bro.
I know it's crazy.
Like
Yeah.
it's a trip.
February is a short month too. So then
Yeah, I know.
once we're in March, I mean, March sucks. It's just a long month with nothing. But
Right.
yeah, well, when we're through March though, we're in the clear, like springs, about to happen, rolling into the summer. But
Yeah, it's like, at least during these times now, like, you know, we've got something going on, like, we've got something to be able to watch, like, it's gonna
mhm.
suck, like, we've got, the Super Bowl on Sunday, and then after that, I think maybe we have 1 more week off, and then the CDL is back.
I think it's no, I think it's like
Is it
1
that
week.
week?
Yeah, it's that week. Yeah,
Yeah,
so, like, we're not watching it this week because the Super Bowl, and then the week after, it starts back up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at least during these long months, we'll be able to actually have some CDL going on to be able to watch that,
Mhm.
so that'll be good. Which and dude, we'll talk about that later. I mean, bro.
Yeah. That was great.
If people didn't watch this, it's worth going back on the rebroadcast and watching it. I mean, it was spectacular.
Yeah,
Um,
that was, the first international major since, 2020, and, well, so technically the second ever international event, and it did not disappoint. The people in Madrid definitely got a really, really good show.
yeah, yeah. No, it was amazing. But before we get to that, I was gonna talk a little bit on season 2 since it did drop.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you saw this, but it was off to a rough start.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Like,
did I did see I didn't play it, but I did see that, uh, a lot of people are like, "Oh, this will bring people back." It did the opposite,
yes, it was
but
it was pretty bad as to what ended up happening. The main thing that I saw that people were complaining about was that now hackers had this ability where they could go and just boot people out of lobbies.
Mhm,
Just like, if they just look up a name, they just type it in, like, in the game, and then they're just, like, kick, and they immediately get people out,
mhm.
It's not really a good look for the game when they're trying to deal with all these hackers, and now there's, like, this huge problem that just came up. Um, I think now it's been fixed.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Treyarch or Activision put out a statement saying that that's not a problem anymore. But then I just saw, I think it was Joe Woe, he was talking about it on Warzone and how it's already, like, the hackers are back on it, like, it's
Mhm.
just totally ruined.
Dude, I'm telling you, if when we play, uh I mean, granted, like, we don't get hacked on, and we have crossplay on, but if we just turn that off, like, it's just gonna be a normal COD for us. It's just gonna be good. We're not gonna run into there is no chance for the most part that we're gonna run into any hackers, but
Yeah,
y
no, it's pretty much not gonna happen. I mean, like, I went and replied to somebody on Twitter because 'cause they'd said the same thing. I There was a stat I think that, I saw where the game had slipped, like, from number 1, to number 2 on PS5 and Xbox for, like, most concurrent online players, and it was still, like, a huge number of people playing the game,
Mhm.
and some guy was like, "Man, I can't believe that, like, there's no way that's true, based on how much people hate this game and say it's terrible," and I'm like, "Well, that's console, like,
Mhm.
most of us are just chilling, like, it's not really a
Well,
big deal for us, but PC,
yeah.
that's, like, a way
Well,
different deal."
that's the thing. I think people are shrouded of about, all that, especially well, one, if you have a PC, I think you're just biased about it because you only play on PC. And then if you're in the competitive scene, you're also biased. And
Right.
then like our feed is just all like it's competitive and, people that really like COD. So that's all we see. But I think people forget there's definitely way more console players in the world than PC players. Like if you have a PC, you're like a tryhard. Even though PCs nowadays it's very common to have one, but that's I like to say if you have a PC, you're privileged to have a PC because
Right.
dude, like a console's just significantly cheaper. And then that's when people will say like broke ass. I'm like, dude, fucking PC. If you want like a good PC, I'm not like not a great one, but a good one that won't be completely outdated in the next like 2, 3, 4 years, you're gonna spend like, a 2 grand.
Right.
Like that's a decent chunk of change for, a hobby. Um, when you could buy 4 PS5s or Xboxes with that. So, like, yeah, I don't know. That it sucks that PC players have to deal with it, but um the majority of players are on console and they're not dealing with this, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Most of us, just because of like the nature of a console, it's not really a big deal. But yeah, most of the PC people are still going to be complaining about it, and rightfully so.
Yeah, yeah.
But I saw, I think it was when I was listening to the Scumps Watch Party, and they just briefly talked about it if they would go back to console and asking if he would, and he was like, "No, never. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't go back." And it was solely because of frames and because
Yeah.
of like how the game plays. Um,
It's because
where
once like not to jump in, like
no, you're
once
good,
you have like they can play on 240 hertz. We play on 120.
right?
Like you don't know what it's like to have the really good stuff until like you go and jump into it and you're like, dude, this shit is ass.
Right.
You're like because like, remember when you were playing on 60 and then I was like,
Yeah.
dude, switch over to 120 and then like now you can't go back to 60. It's just impossible. You can't do it. So once you
Yeah.
have the better life and like you taste it a little bit, you can't go back. But the crazy thing is like 120 is still good. It's just technology is just so much better now, and 240 is the standard in a lot of people's eyes. Like especially if you have PC, like it's 240 or bust.
Well, that's where it's hard for me to understand because I do get it from the 60 to 120 because I personally experienced that since I was a moron back on MW3?
Two,
2,
two,
2. Yeah, it was
yeah.
2. Um, and like, it's hard for me to think when I'm playing on 120 how that could get any better. But, like, for sure, people listening would be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, dude, like, it
it gets better.
100% is so much better," you know? And then that's where a lot of the debate is where people will just stay on PC and not go to console where, like, this crossplay thing came up and people who are fortunate, like I saw TP and I've seen a few other people online who play for a living, they're going back to consoles or they're buying a console because they haven't in years just to be like, look, if I want to put out content and like actually succeed in this game, that's what I have to do. Um, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't make that move solely because of that. And
Mhm.
for me, that's kind of hard to fathom. I'm like, you'd really put frames and how a game performs over the fact that you're getting hacked on in every other game.
Mhm.
To me, that's hard to understand. I think that's like a no-brainer. It's like, dude, if I had to go and turn the game down to 60 and it's like, yeah, but it'll be 1,000 times better playing experience, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people that are dealing with that are, into competitive. So the 120 difference actually does make a huge difference for them. But yeah, again, it's just like I forget the quote, but like you have the 240, like, we just haven't experienced that, so we're
Right.
like, we just don't know. But, I know 240 is significantly better than 120. Like, I
Are you
mean, if we
thinking like it's you don't know how good you got it until you lose it? Is that kind of what you're
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
along those lines? Yeah.
something like that. Um, but 240 is definitely a big jump from 120. Like, it's noticeable,
Right.
especially if you game a lot, it's definitely noticeable. It's like jumping from, like, honestly, like, 30 to, like, 120.
Right. Yeah, I wonder if and when consoles will get to 240. You know, if that's going to be
Yeah.
like the PS6 or PS7 kind of a deal, because consoles are still so far behind. Like it is sad.
Mhm.
Even though this PS5, like for us, we love it, and I think most like the next gen consoles, probably people don't have a lot of complaints about them. But you are right. Like they are in the Stone Age compared
Yeah.
to what is actually out there.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
by
is
the
it
time that we get to 240, like, where is the technology gonna have been pushed for
mhm.
PC, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where are they gonna be, 360? Like, who
Yeah.
knows?
I mean, yeah. 440.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's gonna get to the point, though, where, it's not noticeable to, like, the human eye
Right.
and, uh, like, the touch, I guess, when you're actually playing, which well, when it gets to that point, that's actually good for everyone. Well, it's good for the normal people, the normies, because you can upgrade to that and you won't feel like you're behind or anything, you know? Uh,
Right, right.
well, yeah, with console, it's 120 is perfect. That's fast enough for like the majority of people, but console's just limited with, like we can't upgrade the PS5. It'd be great if we could upgrade the graphics card and like whatever in it to a faster card, but PC you can do that. Like if your parts are outdated, you can just buy a new part and just put it in, and now your PC's good.
Right.
With console, you buy it as is, and like all you can really do is update the storage. That's
Yeah.
really it. So
That would be crazy if you could go and customize your PS5 like that, though.
it would be, and Sony would lose a lot of money. So that's why never gonna happen.
Well, yeah, or what they do is they make a whole division where they makes, like, parts that are just made for them, but they compete with, like, PC parts, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and
That's too much money, though.
yeah, they what I'm afraid of is that they're gonna pull like an Apple where like right now we can update storage. Like if anyone has any Apple products, if you update like you want to upgrade to the next tier of storage and it's just storage, like nothing special. It's literally adding an extra like 100, $200 on top of that just for more storage. And people do it because, they value the storage, but
Right.
storage shouldn't be that expensive. Like, could you imagine if Sony released, next gen PSX console and you can't upgrade storage? Like, what you buy is what you have, and that's it. That would be
Yeah.
awful because games at that point, dude, they're gonna be like a terabyte or
Oh,
like
yeah.
2,000 gigs or like or something.
No,
It's
and it's
nuts.
gonna be ridiculous. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, like, I've no, this was like a big personal win yesterday. Is that game Silent Hill 2 that I've been working on
Yeah.
forever? I finally beat it yesterday. I was like, I had my checklist of games. I still got, well, I had that, and I have Black Myth, and I'm like, okay, I need to beat both these games. Like, one, I want to beat Black Myth, and they're both like good games. But Silent Hill 2 is like, I want to say it's over 50 gigs. I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, dude, this just takes up space. Like, if I need to go and like, I want to go play some other side game, I literally can't. Like, I have to go through my storage and think of like, okay, what game here am I going to be playing? Like, or which game haven't I played in a while? And it's just a pain because if I want to go download it, I got to go leave the PlayStation in rest mode for like, a decent amount of time.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's great to get these games out of the way so then I can go and beat them. And I'm like, okay, that's, X amount of gigs now that's free.
Hmm.
Because dude, if we're gonna have by the end of this year GTA 6 coming up, bro, my
Yeah.
PlayStation is going to be Black Ops 6 and GTA 6. That's it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
I'm gonna have room for anything else. The game's probably gonna be like, I don't even know, probably 250 gigs. Like, it's
Man,
gonna be
dude.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna be way more than that. I mean, Call of Duty in
Actually, let me
general is like
because I
like
literally have
it's
my
well
PlayStation
over
on right now.
200
I want to
gigs.
see, yeah, how much it is. Oh, yeah, bro. COD right
Bro.
now is 347 gigs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like that's ridiculous.
GTA 6 is dude, I wouldn't be surprised if GTA 6 is pushing a terabyte.
Oh yeah, no, it
And
wouldn't surprise me.
luckily, so that was the first thing I did. Like I upgraded my storage immediately. Like as soon as I bought my PS5, I bought an SSD for it. So I have 4 gigs extra on top of what I already have. So um I have a
Wait,
lot
4
of
gigs?
no sorry, not
4
4 gigs.
ter
4
4
terabytes.
terabytes? I
Yeah.
was like, "Bro, what?"
Yeah.
It's
4
like, dude, hell
terabytes.
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
4 terabytes is insane. That's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
ton of storage, yeah.
Yeah. That's 4,000 gigs, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
it's nice. Because I mean, like, I can just download whatever game I want and just update whenever, and it doesn't really matter. But then you start looking at everything and you realize like how much space like each game actually takes up. Um, but that's the thing, like storage shouldn't cost that much. So that's why I upgraded and got an SSD for it because I'm like, I need this extra space. I don't want to run into that like what you're doing where um you have to delete games in order to download another game you want to play.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get to the point where, like you said, like you only have 2 games and you're like, shit, well, I want to play this game, but I can't because I haven't beaten it yet. And if I delete it, I'm screwed.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's always the predicament that I'm in. Thank God all the like the PS2 classics and 3 classics that I have, they're all like I mean most of the PS2 classics they're like a gig. You
yeah.
know, I'm like, oh, okay, this is like I can always keep those on there. But yeah, like all these modern games, dude, they're all like the minimum is 50 gigs, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, if you have a PlayStation, like I think mine's just the base. I want to say it's 500 gigs, I think. Or maybe it's
Uh
a terabyte. I could be
I
wrong.
think it's a
I
terabyte.
yeah, like
There's a 500 and a terabyte, 1 terabyte.
I I'm not sure which one I have then. I'd have to go check. It must be the actually I don't even know, but
It must be the terabyte,
must
like
be. Yeah.
because I mean 500 gigs like nowadays is not a lot. Like Black Ops
Uh,
6 takes up the whole thing.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And even still when you think about that, right? Like that whole Call of Duty app now,
Mhm.
which I don't like that. I wish
Yeah.
it was just Black Ops 6. Like because Black Ops 6 is not 347 gigs. It's
Mhm.
like everything that it has on there, you know. Yeah, it's I mean, legit it's almost 50% of your entire storage is one game.
Yeah, and then when they update, like, it's like 50 gigs, so a whole
Right,
game, and
right.
yeah,
It's just getting, like it's getting bigger and bigger. Like, there's gonna become a point where COD is, like, 700 gigs or something, you
yeah,
know? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Um, so, yeah, I don't know. That is, like, the one problem, I guess, with consoles that we have to deal with the storage issue, you know?
mhm.
Like, it is a drag, but like you said, what can you really do about it other than just like you said, you got to go buy you know, like an SSD and do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all you can do with console, but at least you have the option to, um, expand it.
Right.
I'm
Right.
afraid that Sony and Microsoft in general are like, "Let's just not let them upgrade." Dude, if you can't upgrade at all, that that just sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways around it. Like you can plug in a hard drive or whatever into the console, and you can do it that way. But it's a lot more streamlined when like it's built into the console. Like you plug in the
Right.
SSD into the console, and you don't have like a hard drive or an SSD just like plugged in, like hanging out. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Yeah.
but
It it's a pain.
yeah,
But yeah, man, like going back though, because I don't know how we got on the whole tangent there, but it's good. Like with the season two, like playing it a bit. No, I think it was because talking about bringing people back. I don't think it's really going to. I played it. I like so the maps that they added. Okay, they're okay. Like
yeah,
there's 2 of them that I think are really good. Well, I'll say they're really good. 2 of them are pretty good. There's, uh, Bounty and then Dealership.
mhm,
I like both those maps. Bounty is the one that we were talking about where, like, the levels are ridiculous. Oh, yeah, dude.
yeah,
Like, it's a trip. There's, like, you know, there's all these, like, outside rails and, like, glass that you can go on. And then same thing with like there's like window or like ceiling fans that you could hop across to get to the other side, which is
Mhm.
kind of crazy. There's elevators in there, like there are on what's the map that we play? The one with the pool. Why am I blanking on it? Skyline? Is that it?
In this game?
Yeah, yeah, Black
Yeah,
Ops 6.
Skyline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's an elevator shaft kind of deal like that. Um, so that map's not bad. Dealership is really good. I think that map is awesome. Like there's a ton of cars, obviously,
Mhm.
but it's not really that big of an issue. Like I think they blow up, but they don't kill you, you know. At
Yeah.
least like when I had it, I had the cars blow up and it wasn't an issue. That
Mhm.
map is laid out pretty nicely. It's got like some decent elevation and it's just like flows really nice. Dude, the map, what is it? Like, I'm trying to think, it was not light, yeah, Lifeline? Bruh, dude, it's like a 2v2, 6v6 type map. I had no idea how small this map was. Brother, it is microscopic.
Mhm.
It is like it makes Nuketown look massive. Like,
Yeah.
it's so yeah, it's a 2v2 map. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's really what it is. Um but somehow I went into the playlist. I'm like, "Oh, let's go try them out." And here I am loading into a 6v6 team deathmatch on this. I'm like, "What?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, let's go try it out." And then I walk like, for 2 seconds, dead. I
Mhm.
like had to pull up the map and be like, "Dude, how fast are we moving on this?" Like, it's kinda I think it's kind of a gimmick map. Like,
Yeah. It's
it's
like
really I
shipment.
don't know what yeah, yeah, no, dude, it's that map is smaller than Shipment. Like that
Yeah.
I could be tweaking, but I think that it has to be one of the smallest maps that I've played in a long time.
Mhm.
Like it's spawn inside like inside the yacht, other spawn. And
Mhm.
inside the yacht is like it's just like 2 barriers and then it's just like an area, like a little small area. That's it.
Mhm.
There's nothing crazy to it. Um it's for sure probably like a camo person's dream to go and
Yeah.
play that
I'm
map,
sure.
you know? Um, but yeah, otherwise, like the other 2 maps that they added, I thought they were really good. I played Hardpoint on that bounty map, um, that people were talking trash about, and yeah, it's okay. Like, the hills are not as bad as I thought they were, but, it is a pain kinda getting around it.
Mhm.
But the Dawn Dealership, though, that map, I just like, I think I played, like, 3 or 4 hardpoint maps on there. I think that map is so good. Like, I saw Zuma talking about it, and he played it, and he's like, "Dude, that map could, like, be in the rotation, like, it's really good." And I agree
Mhm.
with him. I think that map flows really nicely. Like, the car thing maybe is kind of, a little iffy for people because of how they're kind of spread out in some spots.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like overall a really solid map.
Mhm. Well, that that's good to hear, though. I mean, I feel like for the most part, these updates, there's at least one map that's decent. Like it's just all right. We haven't gotten a map where in a while, at least, where it was like great and fantastic.
Right.
Most of the maps we've got, especially last year in MW3, we like they added maps and they're all like decent and all right maps. So we wanted to play something else, but it's been a while since we've gotten a map and it's a great map. So, I mean, at least they get one, maybe two that are decent and all right, you know.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
whenever they add grind in, that map is really good, but we'll see how it is in this game. I mean,
Yeah, well, I hope that I hope that it does well. I would imagine because again, we love that map. But yeah, my thing is like after this major, I'm curious if they're gonna take a look at some of these and maybe think about adding them in.
yeah, I
Like I
hope so.
wonder if grind is gonna make it in. Because I mean, it's like it's an OG map. Everybody
Mhm.
knows that it's a good one. It just depends if it plays well on this game.
Yeah, and I for the players too. Hopefully they can add it into a control, like one map into control, so then it's not just protocol over
Yeah,
and over and vault over
yeah.
and over.
Yeah, that like
Because
shifting
that
to the
yeah.
CDL, bro. Yeah, it's nice to watch it, like when you got good competition. But sometimes it's just like, here we go, another vault
Mhm.
control protocol. Here we go. It's like you need a little bit more.
Yeah, well, especially when it's a third game mode because like one's gonna be vetoed no matter what by one team. It doesn't matter. Like we just know it's always gonna be either a vault or a protocol. And people in competitive hate control now, so that doesn't help it either.
Right.
So if they can add more maps into the control pool, then that would help out for sure.
Yeah, it'll make the viewing better for us too. You know, just get adds a little bit more excitement. Um, but yeah, dude, I mean, like talk about excitement, bro. Like this major, we had talked about it last week on our predictions, and just how we were, thinking it was gonna play out. Dude, I had no idea or didn't really expect the major to be anywhere near as hype as it was. Um, this was I would say, like, overall, this was one of the best events that I've seen in a really, really long time. I think it's definitely top 3 in the CDL era, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely in the CDL. I would agree with the CDL because the level of competition. I mean, first off, this game in general, the amount of like game fives that teams are just going into are insane. And same exact thing happened at the major, and that's even better because it's live, and there's more at on the line. So this major was really really good, and it panned out like I think most people thought. And then there are a couple things that happened that people, there are some upsets, but our boys Boston did not win. Well, you could say that. Um, I was pretty. I'm sure they're disappointed. I was disappointed because I know they could have gone farther. Like, and now people are gonna say that, oh, they're just onliners. No, I mean, dude, first round they played FaZe. Like, what the? I like obviously you're ready for any match, but come on, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
playing FaZe, and they obviously going into this major, they're already hot, and they swept Boston in the qualifiers 3-0, and then they did the same exact thing again. And I swear, like what we got knocked out of winners immediately. Like that match wasn't even close, to be honest.
No.
So yeah, and then we got knocked down into losers, and we played
Cloud9.
Cloud9, and we lost a grueler that they should have won.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like they definitely could have won. Not because, some fluke or luck. They could have won.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of that's been Boston's MO since the get-go, right? You know, where it's either they have like as recent they've had really, solid performances where they just look good on every map, or it's been some of them where, I think it was one of those vault controls that they had against OpTic where it was like, oh, they should have won it, like
Mhm.
they make some play that, is a bonehead play and in hindsight they know it is.
Mhm.
And it just throws it away.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it was uh, they got dealt a tough hand,
they
like,
did.
going
Like,
into
yeah.
this,
That's not
like,
yeah,
and starting
not
against FaZe is like
yeah.
and FaZe won the whole thing,
Yeah,
FaZe
yeah,
didn't lose to anybody. I
yeah.
mean, they looked insane, so, it
And
was we knew it was a tough one to start.
yeah, and, like, not an excuse or anything, but that's just a tough ask, You're playing FaZe
Yeah.
right out the bat, and then it's not like you're going into losers and you're playing Cloud9. That's, not an easy team either, regardless of, how they've looked. I mean, obviously, they went, game 5 and knocked Boston out, but I will say the one good thing is Snoopy looks fantastic on this game. It carried over from online to LAN, and he looks really good. And Boston. A lot of people have been saying that Snoopy might not be the guy. Boston's wasting their time. Investing the time into him, and but now like we're seeing it, and he's frying, and like a lot of like Scump, Zuma, a lot of the former pros are finally giving him, his flowers and praising him because he looks insane on the map.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a mini Shotzi. Like a lot of people can, you saw that out of him, you know. And in this game, I think you can clearly see it when he's just like in that flow state.
Dude, we won't get to it yet, but talking about the I remember Chance said it on the broadcast when we got the insane last match, and he's
Mhm,
like, Black Ops 6, we love you. And I'm like, yep, like I'm telling you, bro, this game is really bringing out the best in some players. Like I think that's why the competition is so tight amongst the mid pack right now. And there's players like him who really benefit from this type of game, you know, like the movement, everything about it just suits how he is. Yeah,
mhm,
he's definitely playing the best he's ever played in the CDL. There's no question about it.
mhm,
Um, and it's just a question of, you know, is he going to continue? Like, is he going to stay kind of where he's at now, or has he not even hit his, you know, like his top tier? Like, is he going to get better as the year goes on? You know, and
mhm.
I'm going to assume that he is. As they just gel more and they get more comfortable and confident on the map. Yeah, he really showed out. It was a tough one for Cammy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah,
struggled a bit, and he knew it.
yeah. That was that was tough to see. Like, I hope, they can go back to the drawing board, you know, and come back after that, but, yeah, there are times where I'm like, "Dude, this guy Snoop needs help
Right.
because he's just destroying everyone." Like, yeah, even when they played FaZe, I mean, they got swept, but I think he was the only person on the team that went positive,
Yeah,
uh,
I think so.
in the whole series. Um, so, but yeah, so it was nice to see that Snoopy was frying, and even though Boston lost, a lot of the plays that they made, they were making the plays together, which I like to see because at least with Cloud9, there are a lot of times where they came back from hard points. You know, like I don't feel like in previous years we would go into like a hard point, and I'm thinking, oh god, okay, this might just be chalked from the beginning because they're not a strong hardpoint team. In this game, I don't feel that at all. Like they have a good chance of winning any hardpoint they're in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. No, they look just like a really well-rounded team, you know. The hardest thing I think in this game with them too is making sure that all of those players are on it at one time, you know.
Mhm.
Because like you said, you know, when Snoopy's like he's going off, and even still, he can only do so much, you know. So if he's doing amazing, but then like you know, Cammy's struggling or Wake or Purge, it's like, dude, that one, you know, leg of the chair is gonna screw it all up, you know,
Mhm.
especially when you're playing some of these teams like, you know, we definitely figured out who the top teams are from this, especially just play wise. Um, and there wasn't a weak player on any of those teams, you
Mhm.
know, and when there was, that was the deciding factor. You know, you just always have to be like everybody has to be on it all the time. You know, there's
Mhm.
no like freebies.
Yeah, yeah. Especially in this game. So
No.
yeah. Overall though, I mean, tough for Boston, but I think going into Major 2, they'll be fine. You know, I wonder if I personally I don't think they should make a change. I don't really know who's even out there for a change. I think they just got
Bread.
they they got handed a very tough hand going into the Major, and they should have beat Cloud9. Like they
Yeah.
should have moved on. So uh, they'll just have to work that out. But going into
Yeah,
Major
no,
2,
100%. Now, I'm joking about Pred. I don't think Pred would want. I don't think he'd want to join that team, but
yeah,
more like over that, I don't think Boston would want to have him. I think
mhm,
there's no reason to. They've got a good thing going. They know they can do it. Like they had a bad major, no doubt.
mhm,
Um, but they just gotta, you know, they know what they can do. They just gotta stick to that, and you know, we hope that we see them bounce back in the second split here.
mhm,
Um, I mean, dude, it's the same thing. Like, you know, we're talking like that with Boston. I mean, bro, OpTic, those
mhm,
guys, like, it's the same thing. That team doesn't need a change. But you know how many people are out there now after they placed? I think they got 7th through 8th.
yeah,
I mean, people are probably calling for their heads, be like, "Dude, drop this guy, drop him, drop." You
yeah.
you already know they were, you know, all the
Trump
Optic
Kenny.
fans, you know, yeah, exactly. Dude, Kenny's dog shit. He's trash. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, he won you a fucking chip last year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
He
come
one v
on.
2'd LA Thieves for
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
qualifiers.
yeah. No, it's ridiculous, but yeah, they had a rough showing too. They
Mhm.
played. Who did they lose to initially? Like their first. was it I can't remember who they lost to right off the bat that they played
They
in winners.
played frig, who did
It
they play?
wasn't Thieves.
No, it wasn't Thieves.
Let me
I
just take a
know Miami eliminated them.
Yeah, Miami did. Let me go see if
Who'd
I
they
can
play?
yeah, I know. I'm gonna see if I can find it because oh, I got you. I got you. They play no, so they played Miami first.
Okay, so they
They
did, and
yeah, they
then
played Miami first, and
like,
then they faced LAG and they beat them,
yeah,
and then they lost to Carolina.
yeah, okay, that's what it was.
That's what yeah.
I mixed up where
Wait,
Miami was.
yeah, no, I just thought the same thing too. I
Yeah,
thought Miami went and eliminated them, but no.
because Miami had a good showing. They finished 3rd, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that
Ran
was on no one's bingo card, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
no, not at all. Um,
I I was shocked that they
yeah.
did that well. Definitely Spanish buff though, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that was, yeah, when, Heretics knocked OpTic into losers, I remember watching that, and, what's his name? Rencor? Uh, he dude, he couldn't be killed. Like, he was just in that flow state where he could read everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a huge upset, obviously, and then I'm not gonna say entirely that Carolina limiting OpTic was a huge upset because Carolina's definitely up there in terms of, the top half, of the league, but it was, yeah. I mean, OpTic they're still a good team. Like, it'd be crazy if, like, they brought Pred back. I don't know if that's gonna happen if they got rid of Hook, but the thing is Hook was definitely their best player at this event. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you make a change off of this.
Yeah.
I think if they have a bad showing at Major 2 and it goes the same way, then for sure.
Mhm,
I think you really need to, you need to look at it like that. But yeah, I mean they looked great like online, when they were throughout the qualifiers, they looked great. They just I think just came out flat. They just had a bad weekend. They weren't
mhm,
playing well. Um and the other teams just, totally stepped it up. I mean, damn, like Carolina, people were talking about them on the decline. Like I know I was saying that, thinking that they were definitely slipping. And I mean, dude, there you go. They went and eliminated OpTic. Like no one was thinking that, and they got fourth place. Like
mhm,
they looked really really good. They got right to where I thought they would. Um, like, I say probably prior to when they were, starting to decline a little bit.
mhm.
Um, I would have probably put them at 4th, assuming that OpTic would have been up in the top 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, that was a good showing for Carolina. Like, realistically, they could have gone further too, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I don't think OpTic makes a change. I'm gonna predict that Pred isn't like, I don't think he's gonna play this year. That's my prediction. Not because no teams want him. I think it's more he's not gonna go to a bottom team, and he's not gonna go to a team unless there is potential to win. So, like, Carolina, I could see him possibly going there. Are they gonna make a change? I don't think they should. Uh, I could see him going to Cloud9 because there's a really good chance there, but again, I don't think he's gonna go and sign with a bottom team just so he can play. Like at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a question of like, do you think that he's considering his stock, and where
Yeah.
he left? He was playing for, the reigning champs and,
Mhm.
was with
I mean,
OpTic. And now it's like, okay, he's out. So there's kind of a gray area. Like people are still holding him up, at a high level. I mean, of
mhm,
course, he's a world champ. Um, but then there's always the question of, okay, if he goes to a bad team and like just say they're getting 5th and 6th, do people look at Pred differently? Or do
mhm,
they just still look at the talent that he has? Because maybe he joins like Carolina and they're still placing, like 4th or 5th, but he looks insane,
mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, that's what I guess he's got to, kind of figure out.
Mhm,
But I'm with you. I don't think he plays. I'm barring like OpTic making a change. which I think that would be insane if they did. I think this team looks really good.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's really the only place that he would ever go if they brought him back, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
FaZe isn't changing, Thieves isn't changing,
I
OpTic, Ultra, like, I just don't see it.
yeah. I mean, I could see him possibly going to Cloud9 and reunite back with Sib
Right.
and probably replacing Kremp. I'd
And
imagine
Lamar
it's
too
Kremp.
being the coach, you know?
Yeah, like, it's gonna be a reunion. So
Right.
I could see that happening, but again, um, not like Cloud9 is struggling per se. I mean, but they expect to be higher, obviously, in the
Right.
totem pole right now. But yeah, I don't know. It really depends if like he wants to if he really wants to come back and play. I kind of think the leverage is in his hands because he's gonna get offers. It's
Yeah,
just a
no doubt.
matter, I'm a world champ. Do I want to sign with like a top tier team, or do I sign with like a middle of the pack team that could break into the top three? You
Yeah.
know, because like you said, optics. I think out of the top teams, I think optic is the only one that could make a change. Like Thieves and FaZe are definitely not making changes.
No, no chance.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with it. I mean, because again, he's just like a wild card. He's such a good player.
mhm,
Um, I just said earlier, I'm gonna contradict myself right now. Like he'd be insane at this game. Like
mhm,
he would definitely be doing well at this. I'd be shocked if he just came out and he was dog shit. You
mhm,
know, but teams got to think they got to pay him. Maybe where they're already at, like some of the teams that we just talked about, like Optics already, I'm sure they're doing fine. Like, it's a bummer they didn't do as well as they wanted to. But some of these other teams like Carolina and Toronto that placed really well, like, do they want to risk it from where they're at right now? And, like potentially well, definitely pack a punch. They
mhm.
would with him. Um, but who knows how that could turn out.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
always a risk.
yeah, and of course with him, like, it's not like if he joins Carolina, like, yeah, Pred's good, but is he all of a sudden going to turn those guys into a team that's going to make it to Sunday,
Mhm.
consistently or be, in grand finals? I mean, I want to say no. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, he's good, like he's great, but you can't do that with one person turning that team from like a top four team or being there to like, oh yeah, we're making, grand finals because that's the standard that he's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game. Like,
Right.
you're gonna get a superstar, but superstar can only do so much, and,
It's
yeah,
very
well
true, bro.
yeah, well,
Um, talk about
so
superstar teams, bro.
yeah. So, I mean, um, before we jump into like, the big matches, right? Like,
Yeah.
the event was really good, like, going into the winners finals and losers finals. The Falcons didn't win anything, and I'm sure you heard too, like, apparently teams don't wanna scrim them because it's not worth the time because
What
they're
do you
so
think
bad.
about that?
Professionally, I think that's bullshit. They're a CDL team. They deserve to be treated like a professional team. No matter how they got in, this is like, a nepo baby getting planted into, in the industry and people are like, this person's awful. They don't deserve to be here. Doesn't fucking matter. Like they're in it. So they're a professional team. And it's not like um it's not like they're not shooting back. You know what I mean? Like they've kept games relatively close. It's just when it gets close, they lose everything in their brain and they don't play together. Um and yeah, but coming from the, the other side, the other perspective of the pros, I can see why they think that. Like, oh, it's a waste of time. But at the same time, like you got to hold yourself to, a professional like your standard. That's not fair to them. Like they're in this league, everyone should be scrimming, you know.
I
Yeah.
totally agree.
And I'm gonna add too, like the connotation of like these guys are so ass, like we don't even want to practice with them. That's like awful for these guys. Like imagine, these guys they don't speak any English. I'd imagine. if anything. And they made their dream. They're coming into this league. They're like, oh, we get to play with the best of the best. Well, how the hell are you going to get any better if you're not going to be able to practice against the best of the best? You know, like these guys aren't, they're not like ranked kids or whatever, you know, or like amateur players technically, right? Like if we load up against them, they're cooking us.
Right.
They can shoot and rip people off like headies, like some of these other pros. The teamwork's just not there for them. Uh, so yeah, I think it's bullshit that they're just being blacklisted and not even like they don't even get to practice. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's so stupid. It's childish.
Mhm.
You know, like the whole talk about people saying that they shouldn't even be in the league and all that. Like, look, that's just that's not reality.
Yeah.
Like, there's not going to be a world this year at least where that team completely, abandons all those players and goes to North American players or EU players, that can shoot back. It's like, dude, these people want them to get better, so they're competitive. The only way they're going to do that is if you scrim them.
Mhm.
And then Clay goes and talks to them and coaches them through what they're doing wrong and how to fix it. Like, that that's how you do it, you
Mhm.
know? Like, it's not like they have to be, like, necessarily they're not teaching these kids, but they've got their own stuff that they could work on too, like these, the other pros that say they don't wanna waste their time with them. It's like, to me, it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you've got
Yeah.
enough that you could work on your own time, and if it's that, like, you know, I don't know, it's like, man, go play them, smoke them, and then go move on, you
No,
know?
yeah, that's
I like,
exactly
I
like
like,
yeah.
I don't really I don't get that. Like, to me, it just seems like some childish shit where
Mhm.
they say that and be like, "Oh, they're so bad, we're not even gonna play them." You know?
Yeah.
It just it comes off really lame,
Yeah, and it's
we
like
want all these guys to do well, play
yeah.
them.
Yeah, and you're telling me they haven't had any scrims where, like, they go, like, 8-0, 10-0, like, map count. Like, they just
Right,
sweep another team. You're telling like, that's definitely happened before, you know?
right,
So, like you said, why does it matter if you go and you scrim them and you do that? You just sweep them.
right,
You got practicing.
right.
So, whatever.
Yeah, I don't get that. I think it's really dumb. Yeah, that did come out during the major, and it was just
Mhm,
like, it was a drag. I mean, like, no one's gonna deny it. That team is really struggling. They don't
yeah.
look good right now,
Mhm.
but doing that is not helping the situation. It's just
Oh,
making it worse.
well, that's the thing, like, how are they gonna get any better then?
Exactly.
And right now, yeah, like, they might not win anything at
Right.
this rate.
Yeah.
Like, if they have a chance of winning a series, I guarantee you, like, especially live at a major, the whole crowd's gonna be behind them.
Yeah.
If they're
They
that
win
close.
map 1, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Crowd's
'Cause
freaking out.
their search is solid,
Yeah.
they can the search ain't bad.
Well, they're solid, and then they choke because
Yeah, true.
Carolina yeah, they came back. It was like
5-1 them.
5-1. Yeah.
Dude,
Like
that's the new 5-3 curse. The
yeah.
5-1.
See, that's the thing. It's like they know you gotta close those. That's
Right, right.
choking. But yeah, Falcons, they didn't have a good showing at all.
No.
Um, and it must suck like going into an event and like, oh wow, this is your first ever of like professional event. And not saying every pro hates them, but they kinda do to an extent because like they just
Right.
suck. It's like I don't know. That's like seeing
Yeah.
your idols a little bit and they're like, "You're shit."
Yeah, exactly. It's
So,
not good for the morale.
yeah.
Again, those guys, they need help. Um, and they're part of the CDL, whether you like it or not. So you got to treat them with the respect that they deserve.
Mhm.
Like you said, it doesn't matter how they got there or anything. They're part of this, this league. So you got to play them.
Yeah.
It's like same thing. Can you imagine that in the NFL? They're like, oh yeah, we're not even going to bother playing this team. They're so trash. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, what?
Yeah. Like, if they're
Like,
so trash, go
yeah,
stomp on them
right,
and
right.
then move on.
Well, I will say, bro, like skipping ahead with like getting to the main thing. So like I thought that was hilarious when Thieves went and played Miami.
Mhm.
That
Well,
was
back
like,
up where so FaZe and Thieves played each other in the winners finals,
oh
which
yeah, okay, yeah.
everyone expected. Uh, Thieves went up 2-0. against
Oh, yeah,
FaZe.
yeah, no, yeah, right, we
Yeah.
gotta start with this, bro.
These went up 2-0, and it was, I mean, it was good. Like, they
We had
destroyed
Ernie
them.
talking his shit.
Yeah,
He's
the first
standing
hard
up
point,
pointing.
they destroyed FaZe. Search, I think they won 6-3. It was a little closer,
Mhm.
and then FaZe just reverse swept.
They woke up,
They
bro.
woke up, and yeah, they reverse swept, knocked Thieves down to losers, and I think everyone predicted at this point, like, it's gonna be FaZe Thieves. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people expected that,
But,
and,
like,
what
not to
was that
cut you
round?
off, but
What was that
that's
round
my
count?
point, though.
Yeah.
That's my point with the Thieves, Heretics. What was
No,
that
no,
round
no.
count?
Thieves, FaZe, like, the first, was it round 10? Round 11?
For what? Oh, for the search?
For
At
winners
the end?
finals, yeah.
For winners finals?
Yeah.
Um, I think it was round
Was it
11.
round 11? Yeah, okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, let me actually go see if I can pull it up really quick because 'cause I'm curious. I think you're right, though. I think it was around 11 that they reverse swept them on.
Yeah.
Let me give me 1 second here because I wanna find it. Yeah, that was just like an, yes, it was. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, so round 11 for to make it into grand finals, and then,
yeah.
yeah, so Thieves gets knocked down into the losers finals against Miami, and I was really surprised when Miami beat Carolina, first of all,
Yeah, I couldn't believe
but
that.
again, the home buff, they
Right.
got the fans there were awesome, they're cheering on for the Heretics, and then they go and play Thieves. Dude, the Thieves didn't even, like, they're like, "Alright, let's sweep them and just move on."
Right. That's what I thought was like, for Miami, I like, of course, as a competitor, you're not thinking this way.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, dude, let's fucking give it everything we have. But it's like there has to be a voice in the back where you're like, all right, we are in some deep waters right now. Like these guys, these guys just had the most insane game five, round 11 against them. Like Thieves is looking ridiculous. We've kind of hit our cap here, you
Mhm.
know. And they did. I mean, like we're talking about with like just steamroll them. If you think
Yeah.
they're so bad, Thieves just like they Scrap. He didn't get up and say anything bad to them. He was just like they're just a roadblock. Let's just get them out of the way here. Like we got to do what we got to do. Um, yeah, they annihilated them pretty
Mhm.
quickly, and then it was like right back to Thieves phase.
Grand
I'm like,
finals.
oh, here we go. You
Yeah.
know,
Like,
I
the
was I was amazed before you. I was amazed that Thieves was able to keep that stamina up because they played a grueling map
mhm.
five. Then they had to play a whole other series against Miami, speed ran that, and then they went all the way with them, and they were still like fighting right until the end. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Miami got dealt a tough hand when, like, Thieves lost, game 5, round 11. They got reverse swept too on top of that. They're
Sh-
pissed,
Oh my
and,
god, yeah.
like, these were just hot. Like, they got to play. They played against FaZe, like, hot-handed and lost, and then Miami's just sitting around waiting for whatever team to come, and like you said, these were just like, let's get this done as quick as possible so then we can get back to where we belong in the grand finals. And this grand finals was awesome because it went down to the wire, game 7, round 11. And these guys were just back and forth. Like every game went back and forth. And there were just points where, like, you just didn't know, like, what would happen.
There was no close matches other than the vault search, which
Yeah.
it was like later on in the series where phase one at 6-1.
Mhm.
That was the only one they won 5 rounds in a row and then they lost. Um yeah, that was the only map that I think you know, wasn't remotely close. But every other match that they had, like the first hard point, I mean, I couldn't believe FaZe lost that. And then when it came to the control on Hacienda, bro, I couldn't believe Thieves lost that. I was like, I like both teams, so I didn't really care, but
Mhm.
like when I see Envoy just making all of the plays, doing everything, I'm like, "The hell?" I was like, "Oh my god." And then they lost it down to last second. I was like, "No." Like,
Yeah.
bro, he must have been like leaning back in the chair like, "Boys, I literally did everything." Like
Yeah. Well, he
yeah,
he
he
pulled off a miracle, and then FaZe pulled off another miracle, just back
yeah.
to back. That was such a a um good match to watch just in terms of like competitiveness. And like you and I were texting on the side, and then I was like, the whole reason why this Thieves team was built, it like every team for the most part is built so they can beat FaZe.
Right.
Everyone knows that. Like the team is built so they can take down the champions. And this team was very, very close. I like I think Envoy was their best player. Like he had a really good major.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think the most disappointing was Hydra. I'm not gonna say it's a team game. I mean, he didn't cost completely, but he's not the best at this game right now. I
Right.
think it's I don't know if it's a case of he's trying to do too much, but like because we've mentioned it before, just in regular rank, like if you're the best player, you don't need to do everything. When back on New York, he was the player to do everything. Um, and now it's, his team, like he doesn't need to do everything on the map. And I think he's just having a hard time trying to mesh with Envoy, like as a sub duo. And yeah, like jumping to the last match in general, the last search, I think he finished like 3-8.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
The round 11, he it, it seemed like it was on purpose. He like jumped into the elevators on Skyline, and he was just hoping to pick someone off and maybe make the game-winning play. But, it obviously didn't happen. He got first blooded, and they're
Yeah.
down a man right away, and maybe that was a strat, like, his team was like, because you never know with that guy, right? Like, he's insane. His potential is nuts, so maybe he gets lucky, he pops 1, maybe 2 just because of that, and then his bad series looks like I'm a superstar because I turned it around the last round, right?
Right,
But
right, right.
obviously that didn't happen, and FaZe read it completely.
Yeah, I mean they were just like we said before, they were just going back and forth on pretty much every map and like every round in that round in the map 5 or map 7 rather. They just were I think it was they went 1-1 and then FaZe just, turned on the burners and like, I think it was Simp and Abizi, they both got
Dude,
2 pieces
yeah.
and they ended the round in like 30 seconds. It was ridiculous. And I was like, "Oh man, like they're really like turning up the tempo now, like, Thieves might fall." And then they just, answer back like it was crazy. Um yeah, Hydra definitely did struggle in that last map. Um, like you said, what do you want to call it, costing or whatever? It's like, I don't really like to say that about any of these guys because
Mhm.
it's like, bro, they're unbelievable players. I saw he tweeted out saying, like that's on me, like the loss, and it's like, dude,
Not con
I-
not
it's
completely. It's a team.
no, no, no. I mean, it's like he's so hard on himself, of
Mhm,
course, It's like, dude, you guys did make it to that round 11. It's not like you got absolutely smoked,
mhm,
and it's like, dude, we needed you for this. It's like,
mhm.
man, they pretty much they were right there making all the right plays. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it was just like for me, it seemed like it was like with FaZe, they were just smart. Like they were just playing like fundamental basic things that I don't know. I think Thieves struggled with it, and especially with Phase 2, what's amazing for me with them is their ability to adjust. It's like that stuff to me just like drives me crazy. Like it makes me so like happy to think about that. I'm like, bro, these guys are so smart
Mhm,
at this game. Like there's a level to this that people don't even know. Like they've had to they played against them, lost the searches to them, and they need to go back and think, okay, we need to do this differently because they're doing this. So let's totally shift up the way we're playing. And like, Thieves struggled.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
especially too with a lot of them, they would just diffuse bombs. I mean, that's how they won the whole thing.
Mhm.
I mean, how many round 11s do you just see where the game ends on a defuse?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, though the Thieves, I even saw on the map where you could see Hydra was struggling, and there are moments where he paired up with Envoy, and, like, specifically, I remember them going underground into the vents, and those 2 just rushed together, and I think it was, round 10, like, actually. to get to the round 11. Like I was like, "Oh god, this is insane." And they looked calm, composed, and Envoy and Hydra just ran into the vent and then got one together and they both just backed up. And in my
Right.
head, I'm like, they don't care that he's not, playing as well. We got to try to get him to like believe that, he is still that guy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
make sure he's not down on himself without saying anything to anyone. Like
Right.
because we say it all the time, like we might go like 0 and 5, 0 and 6. All it takes is one kill. You get one
Right.
kill and then you get in a groove, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, little too late, obviously, but FaZe, they just that chemistry between those three people, and then obviously Draws is just insane. Um,
Dude, the
like
three-piece by Draza,
yeah,
bro.
like you can't replace that chemistry of those three guys together, and then you throw like a crazy player like Draws. Like he read that perfectly, and when he got the two piece. That was
Yeah.
just insane because Ghosty was in the cart,
Yeah.
the RC car, and I didn't realize he was in that. I was like, "Oh, he's dead," because his crosshairs went over to, I think it was
Scrap.
Scrap, yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Shit, Ghosty's gonna kill him." Then I didn't realize he was in the car. He got the two piece, and what's crazy is he went and turned, looked at the elevator shaft. He got a call out from, uh, I forget who died down there, but he got a call out from some teammate. And those are like the best moments when you get a
Oh,
call out from your teammate and it's perfect
perfect.
because he
Yeah.
pre-fired too and
Right.
ripped Envoy.
Yeah. And he almost ripped Hydra
Yeah, yeah.
too to like
To
get
get
the
the
ace
ace.
there.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
god,
would have
yeah.
been insane.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw Bose and he was like, "Dude, that must." He's like, "If he got that 4, he's like, "That would
yeah.
have been the
Mm.
filthiest thing I've ever seen in my life, bro."
Yeah,
It's like,
dude, yeah.
yeah.
If he just
And a
kept
game
firing.
7, yeah,
Yeah.
like, it was nuts. But yeah, I mean, the communication, especially when they do the listen-ins, I always love those because, like, you'll see them. They did one of the phase ones on Hacienda,
Mhm,
and he's just like, he gets killed up in top library, and he's like, two going plat one, and it's just like, yep, that's totally right. Like, there they
mhm,
are. And he's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm such a sucker for that. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's how these guys, like, their comms are just so good.
mhm.
And
Oh,
the amount of trust and chemistry that they have is like, it's unmatched.
yeah, and when it all works out, it's even better. Cause like, we have
Yeah.
those moments when we're playing ranked, and, like, the best feeling is when you die and then, like, you call something out, and it's exact. It's a
Yeah.
perfect call out, and then you get the trade or whatever, or
Yeah.
in search, like, something like that, and you
Yeah.
clutch up. Like, those are the best moments because you made the, right call out and the right play.
Right.
And everything just it works out. And hearing like all four players, especially in search, I love seeing it in search because they'll call out or whatever, and they slow the pace down. They're all playing together, like they're just running together as a unit. And there are a lot of times when you're watching, especially if you're new to competitive COD, like they'll wrap to a certain bomb, and the other team's trying to like they're playing chess. They're trying to outsmart the other team. Sometimes they'll wrap to A bomb, fake them out, and then double back to B. And then the other team, you see the arrows move over to B because they know what they're doing, but then they'll go
Right.
back to A. I just love that.
Yeah, I know. It's the best. And yeah, man, that level of COD that we saw at this major, and especially that grand finals. I mean, people were saying it's one of the best grand finals I've ever seen. I would put it up there for sure. Um, you know, I think it was Octane who like reminded me of it. Like he compared it to, or saying like it's not the same as that reverse sweep in the game 9. I'm
Rucker.
back on. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I agree, like, that is one of the best things probably ever witnessed, but I will say with this, though, I think what made this matchup so amazing is, 1, like, the Draza Scrap hatred, like,
Yeah.
knowing that these guys just despise each other,
Yeah.
but also just knowing that both of these teams were playing so good.
Mhm.
It was like it wasn't some, like, oh, FaZe is, like, playing like trash, and then all of a sudden they pick it up like that. The winners finals was amazing too, but this grand finals, both of them were, like, at their peak,
Yeah.
and it just showed how evenly matched they were and, like, how close. Thieves, like, built this whole team to take down FaZe, and it was, like, symbolically, it was, like, just 2 kills, not
Mhm.
enough. It's like FaZe just barely beat them out, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, and that's they just made the least amount of mistakes. You know,
Right.
a few mistakes. They're like the Chiefs,
Right.
except better. Like
Right.
they just you make a mistake, they'll find a way to win
Right.
somehow. And yeah, and they did it. Like went to game 5, round 11 in winners, and then again a game 7, round 11. Like last possible round second, and it was just a performance out of those two teams.
Yeah, when you talk about like, quote unquote mistake, like when Envoy went and planted the bomb in the round 11 and he planted it for like the wrong side from where Scrap was because they
Mhm.
got the kills and it's like that was it. Like they knew Scrap was over there and I think it was Simp who hopped the bomb
Yeah,
was just like, like dude, they
they
he
can't see
can't
it.
see me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't see it. Like just hit this. Like we're just gonna go and hit the defuse. And then I think it was Abe who got the kill on Ghosty pushing through pool
Mhm.
and that was it. And like you just see it like right when the diffuse went down, like Scrap just, he couldn't see.
Mhm.
He could maybe get that trade on a Beezy, but Simp he couldn't see him and it was
Mhm.
it. It's like, man, just that one mistake. Like if they planted on the other side,
Mhm.
could have been a different outcome, because he could have gotten those kills.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the stuff where it's like, dude, we're talking just in the moment, like they're shitting themselves,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I couldn't even imagine. Yeah. I mean, dude, I was tweaking. I'm like,
Mhm.
bro, I couldn't even imagine being in this. Um, but that's where Simp and Abizi and that whole team is it's so rad to me. I'm like, dude, these guys are so good. They're so seasoned. Like they know exactly what to do. And then he stands up. He's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, yeah. And
dude,
that
I was loving it.
that moment too where Envoy planted and Simp and Abizi, was it Abizi? It was either Abizi or Cell. I can't remember who got the final kill. But whoever was running with Simp, you saw that moment when they planted and Scrap was by himself. Immediately, like everybody that watched competitive COD is like, it's over.
Yeah.
Like hop bomb. And Simp just hops bomb and like everyone knew
Yeah.
it's completely over. They can't do
Yeah.
anything. Um that and I mean, that was a heartbreaker
Oh,
for the LA Thieves guys because one, like you go all to the last possible round, last possible map, and you lose. You do that twice, and you know the first time you should have won.
right.
Um, and yeah, and then a lot of people are also showing the beef between Draws and Scrap is real life. Like they fucking hate each other. Scrap went up, went to go fist bump everyone, and Draws was just said no. Um, don't know how I feel about that personally. I like Draws because he's
I
like
love it. I
like
love
he,
it.
he's a villain, but I do think like there's a level of sportsmanship. Like no matter
Yeah, no,
what,
you're right. Yeah.
if you hate the person, like just do it. The fact that like shows that Ernie has he has a level of respect, even though he fucking hates this guy's guts.
Yeah, I think it would probably be one of those cases. I mean, only Draza would know, but it would
Yeah,
probably be
yeah.
one of those things where he's like, dude, I know for a fact if he won that,
Exactly. Yeah,
he
yeah.
wouldn't have done that shit. You know what I mean? Like even when they won up, they're going up 2-0, Scraps up there yelling. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's like it's trash talk,
Yeah.
but Draza would probably come back and say like, "Nah, dude, like for sure he wouldn't." Or if he went and fist bumped me, he'd be like, "You're fucking dog shit." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He
But
wouldn't
that
be
that
like, "GG's, bro." Like
that
it
I
is
think
what it
that's
is.
the thing though. Like I think Scrap would go and fist bump him and be like, "You're dog shit." But at
Yeah.
least like he gave him the respect of like giving
Yeah.
him the fist bump, like that's like why,
No, I hear you.
if anyone played any sports growing up, no matter if you lose or win, like you go and, line up and,
Right, do
say
the whole thing,
good
yeah.
game, whatever, even if you hate the other person. And then you
Right,
just have like an edge on them, you know?
right.
Like, but he is a villain, like he is on phase. So
And
I
he's
like it.
leaning into it, bro. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. All those guys are leaning into it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Simps over here doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Everyone hates phase. And it's just funny because like dude, Abizi got booed when he was like, "I love you guys, thank you."
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
like,
right,
how the
dude?
fuck? Like, I don't get how you hate like him especially because I've been on the Abizi bandwagon since he joined in World War II and then going to Black Ops 4. This dude doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he gets hyped, but he doesn't really trash talk. Like he's just way better than a lot of people, and people just hate him because he's on phase.
Right.
That imagine like I don't know. Like he's like, thanks guys, like you guys are awesome, and everyone's just booing him.
Yeah, but, like, yeah, which is messed up, but what's so funny is, though, like, he says all that, and then they're booing, and then he looks over at Chris, and he starts smiling.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, he loves it," you
Yeah.
know? But he would never say anything. Like, all those guys, they've all said something, like,
Mhm.
same thing like, Simp is, for the most part, he's always, like, majorly level-headed, doesn't really
Mhm.
say much, in the way of controversy and Salium, but all those guys, I think of, like, I mean, I'd be surprised, like, you had to find a clip of Abizi, like, talking trash or saying something bad.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
all of those
Those are
guys
yeah.
other tthan him have said something that
Mhm.
could definitely, rustle some feathers, even though, like, it's really not that bad.
Mhm.
Draza for sure, though. Like,
But
Draza
that's what I'm
definitely
saying, yeah.
pushes it, but that's his
Like,
thing,
that
you
exactly.
know?
He's playing into that. The other 3
Yeah.
guys, it's like the most that they've done, I swear, is like, "What were you guys
Right.
saying to
Right,
us?"
right,
Like,
right.
that's it. Like, you don't I honestly, I don't think you can find a clip where they're all standing up and, like, pointing at the other team. It's like,
Right.
"You guys are dog shit. Like,
Dude,
sit
it's
down."
people just hate when people like that win. Like those guys who win all the time
Yeah,
because
they
they
do.
did,
Yeah.
it's like that's just how it is. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Yeah.
FaZe always has that kind of vibe about him, like being for whatever reason they've got this villain thing attached to them.
Mhm. Well, it's 'cause
Um,
they just win. They're
you
like the
know
Chiefs. They've won so much. No one
exactly. It's the same.
everyone's tired of them winning.
Right,
Uh,
and we dealt with it with the Patriots. It's like, and I've said
yeah.
it before 1,000 times with, like, Lewis Hamilton. Everyone fucking hated him
Yeah.
when he was winning every time. Now he's not winning a lot anymore, so everyone's cheering for him, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So, like, it's good. Like, what I'm glad this was Major 1. I'm glad that
Yeah,
Madrid got a show. They got a really good show,
yeah,
and, I'm glad that I mean, Thieves can square up with FaZe at any time, and clearly, you know, in another universe, they take both of those rounds, and
right.
win. So, uh
And this is the, like, last thing I'll say, and this is the sign, dude, that the CDL needs to go to Europe more, bro. This
mhm,
was such a good event. The crowd, bro, I don't even give a shit. The EU crowd is so much better than the US crowd.
mhm.
Like, bro, the hype and, like, just the overall passion that they deliver, it's ridiculous,
You know what's funny
you
too?
know?
Those guys, the passion is great. They're cheering, they're booing, but they're way more respectful, but way better than, like, US fans.
Right,
Like, there's a way to do it properly, and
right.
that they did it.
Like, dude, when the teams, like, lost, like, I think it was LAG when they lost,
Mhm,
bro, they're out there, like, applauding them, like, the whole bit, you know?
mhm.
Like, it's just dope. Yeah, it's like, man, you don't see that, like, when it comes to US fans, like, most of these people in the
Yeah,
chat on here,
yeah,
like, OpTic losers, "Fuck 'em, dude, they
yeah,
suck," whatever. It's like, every single time. It's like, dude, it is what it is. Just be, stoked that you got to see them play or, like,
mhm,
they tried their best. People are like, I don't know. It just pisses me off.
mhm,
EU people just seem to have a lot more gratitude and are a lot more accepting of, whatever or however their team does,
mhm.
that they just show them the flowers and the respect that they
They're
deserve, for putting on a show for them.
yeah, they're happy that they're there.
Exactly.
Appreciate it.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, Major 1 was a bang. Uh, hopefully Major 2 will be another banger, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think Major 2's in Texas. So,
I believe so. Yeah.
uh, yeah, that'll be a good one, I'm sure. And I'm
Oh,
excited for qualifiers again, like back to the matches, obviously, and then um, on to the next major.
absolutely, bro. So it's going to be a good one. I mean, I'm going to be watching this major one back because I love watching the clips of it. It gets me so hyped,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. So it's
yeah.
good stuff.
I mean, oh yeah, Phil. When Phase 1, they probably just went back and those guys just have won so much. It must feel so
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, bro. Dude, they enjoyed that steak dinner, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got to go and cash the check. know that they just absolutely spit on these guys like the last possible bit they could have beat them. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, it's a pretty good way to close out the weekend for them.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited for the next major and the next matches for the
100%. Me
CDL.
too.
Even though people say the game's in shambles, the CDL is not though. The
No.
competition is great.
Yeah.
So we'll see if any teams make changes too. There's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot going into the next qualifier. So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah,
it's going to be going, but we'll let anybody know if anything does happen. We'll be talking about it for sure.
yeah. So yeah. I think I mean we covered everything. Season
Yeah.
2, Major 1, the majority of it, and yeah. I mean if you guys like, let us know what you thought of the major if you watched it, because
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people did watch it and they're just as hyped as us.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, and then 2, if you're playing season 2, let us know, like, I guess what your favorite map is, because I haven't played it, but I know, like,
Yeah.
you talked about a couple maps that you thought were decent. Let us know if you actually think that, or you think they're dog shit. I don't
Oh,
know.
right.
Uh, so I've like, side note, I've heard that the new zombies map is actually really, really good. I just need to get back on and play,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. So I'll get
No,
back
I know.
on.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, yeah, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below of what you thought of the major, or about season 2. And we're also on anchor.fm/the COD Casuals, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If you're on Spotify, leave a comment down there too, because we're always reading the comments. And we're also on TikTok and Instagram Reels. So if you don't listen to the whole thing, we cut it up and put it over there. And if you want to reach out to us or anything, we're on X or Twitter, and join the community, because we're probably the most active there. And 5-star rating, because
Always.
it helps us out a ton for a COD podcast. So
100%.
yeah, I think that's it.
That's it, bro.
Well, thank you, everyone. This has been episode 208 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.